We've got the all-new Kia Sorento, and it really blurs the lines between categories. Where does it fit in?
They already have the Telluride. That's a mid-sized 3-row SUV. Now Sorento is also standard with 3 rows. So where does it fit in?
Let's get in, take it for a drive.
Okay, what do we have to put it in?
We have to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit the notification button, that would be awesome, because it really helps support the channel.
And you need to follow along. Andrea is motormouth_Andrea for Instagram, and you'll find out if you haven't watched before why in just a moment. And for me, it's motormouth_auto. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. So all new gets thrown around a lot, but this really is all new from the wheels up, new platform, new engines, new transmission, new interior. It really is a well done job by Kia. So the big news is 2 new engines. What's the first one?
So the first is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It has an 8-speed automatic transmission. It has 191 horsepower and 182 pound-feet of torque.
Now that's only available on the 2 bottom trims.
That's right.
The most of them, of the trims that are available, you get the engine that we have here today.
Yeah.
And that is a 2.5 liter, same size engine, but now it's turbocharged. And the power goes way up. It's 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, but the transmission changes also. It goes to a dual clutch, or what they call a wet dual clutch.
And it is new technology, right? The first of its kind in this class?
Yeah, that's right. Interestingly, Andrea, I have had a chance to drive this engine on the Genesis side with the GV80 and the Kia K5 GT.
Yeah.
And I have to say it feels different in this execution than driving in those. I think it's been tuned for fuel economy. I think that's the number one thing, is that they've calibrated the transmission and the engine to get, obviously with an SUV, the best possible fuel economy. So it has, in my opinion, good results, not outstanding results.
Yes, I noticed that there is a little bit of a lag with the turbo engine. I find that when I accelerate from a stop sign or a red light, there is a slight delay, and we've also noticed it in passing.
Yeah, I really notice it, not so much in the city. I kind of disagree with you on that. I think it's okay for what you're doing day to day. It's the mid-range power and passing on the highway, the engine kind of runs out of breath. And a lot of people are going to say, well, why would they get rid of the old 3.3 liter V6? Well, it's older technology, not as good on gas. This uses less fuel.
Less fuel, and it handles really well. I'm enjoying it. I think in the city it's fantastic, but even when you get on the highway, once you get up to that speed, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's quite nice.
The number one thing for me that I noticed about this is how much more responsive the steering feels, how much more nimble and agile it feels, and it has a really good turning radius.
It does.
So for those that don't want to go all the way to the Telluride, this is the way to go.
Let's go through the key standard features. 7-passenger seating, heated front seats, cloth seats, 8-inch touchscreen, 4.2-inch TFT instrument cluster, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, remote keyless entry, heated side view mirrors, LED headlights and tail lamps, forward collision warning and autonomous braking, and 17-inch wheels.
So this vehicle has a lot on the base model, but there's some interesting packaging choices, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But we want to touch on the design, because a lot of people commented when I put out one of those little preview videos that it looks very domestic.
It looks a lot like a Ford. Even the taillights at the back, it kind of has a bit of a Mustang look to it.
Yeah, the Mach-E, or the Mach-E, their new SUV.
Yes, it's boxy. It's very different than the previous model. It was a little bit softer. Now it's boxier and more rugged looking.
They have a Kia look to the front, of course, and it is a Kia, but yeah, you see some of that domestic look. Some people said Explorer, some people said even the Dodge Journey, and also the Passport from Honda. You decide what you think of it. But when you get on the inside, wow.
It's pretty special. This SX trim, which is the top trim, comes with a 10.25-inch touchscreen. It is a 10.3-inch digital instrument cluster. It actually comes standard with an 8-inch screen. You've got to go to the top trims to get the 10.25-inch screen, which actually to me is the showstopper in here.
So on those top two trims, you get the big screen, as you mentioned, and you also get the big pano roof, but you got to go to the very top trims to get the pano roof.
That's right. I actually wish that there was an option that if I did decide to go with a lower trim that I could purchase the panoramic sunroof. That's not the case. The LX Premium does have a sunroof. It's just not panoramic.
It's not the big one like this. So at least it's offered. The other thing is, which is quite interesting, so it's really quite delineated between the base model, which is the 2.5 liter, and then the turbocharged one, kind of like we're doing here. So you get 20-inch wheels with the turbocharged model, and then also when you get the turbocharged model, they take a seat away in the back.
Why do they do this? We reviewed the Toyota Sienna minivan and it was the same sort of thing. On the top trims, you get less seats.
No, it's not just the top trims, it's all of the turbos. You have to go to 6 passengers. So this is where the packaging on this kind of falls down for me a little bit. I like the product, but why can't you get the turbo engine and 3 seats across the back and then the option to use the third row if you want?
Yeah, I think they need that. Some people, if they want the extra luxury or they want the turbo engine, as you said, you should have the option to get 7 seats, not just 6.
So do you think going to a standard 3 row of seats, whether it's 6 or 7 passengers, was a good idea?
Yes.
Why?
I think it's a brilliant idea. Great marketing ploy by Kia. You can get this as a 7-seater, but you don't have to use it all the time. You can use it as a 5-seater, but if you want a 7-seater, it's available. I can't tell you, as a mom back in the day with small kids, how many times I wish that I had a 7-seater in a pinch.
You know what I said? We're not getting a 7-seater because I don't want to be responsible for taking everybody else's snotty kids to soccer practice.
I know, that's what he really said.
I used to say they can figure out how to get their own kids to soccer practice.
And
it worked out.
But I wasn't like that. And this is my thing.
Oh yeah, I'm the Grinch.
I didn't always want to drive such a large vehicle such as a Telluride. And that's where I think this Sorento fits in so well.
Do you know another brand that did this at the very, very beginning, and they won a huge number of loyal followers, was the Acura MDX. When it came to market, it was smaller like this one, and it came standard with 3 rows of seats, and it was a major selling feature, so you're probably right.
I want to talk about this center console. I think it is so well designed. Everything is at my fingertips. I love the leather wrap shifter. It also has the heated steering wheel switch down there. I think it's just wonderful.
It looks Telluride-esque. They have a similar kind of look. I like where they place the heated seats on each side of the bolsters. There's wireless charging for your phone, lots of connectivity. I like the design of the way the screen is integrated into the instrument cluster, and below that you have the HVAC system. It all looks upscale and classy considering this is not a premium car.
And the quilted seats, they're very comfortable. Reminds me a lot of the GV80 look.
I think that's what they're going for, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite nice in a vehicle that starts at around $34,000.
Trust me, the $34,000 one doesn't look like this.
No, it doesn't. It comes actually with cloth seats.
Now, what do you think of this sort of embossed, sort of quilted look with the aluminum inlays in the doors and the dash?
For me, I think it's a little bit too much quilted design in here. I think it would have been nice if it was just kind of that plain brushed aluminum. I like it.
Yeah, it does come with different inlays. If you want wood and stuff like that, you can get that. Interestingly though, Andrea, the digital instrument cluster you referenced on this SX is not available in Telluride yet. It's probably coming, but that is a Sorento exclusive.
The heated steering wheel you can get in the LX Premium trim. Driver's seat memory comes in the SX trim, our top trim.
Now, a lot of you have questions about this, so let's stop for coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
With such a boxy design, is there wind noise? Actually, no wind noise. It's quite quiet.
Yeah, no, this is an all-new platform, and a lot of attention went into noise, vibration, and harshness, all minimal.
The new Sorento hasn't quite dazzled me as much as the Telluride did. If you only needed 5 seats, which would you choose and why? Well, for a non-premium vehicle, I would choose the Mazda CX-5 Signature.
Of course you would. You always say that.
Zach knows I like Mazda. I like the turbo engine, and you know what? I think it's great value. How about you?
Well, it's kind of puzzling that they don't offer this with just the 5 seats any longer, but there you go.
What off-road capability does the new model have? I believe there is a trim geared towards off-roading. Yes, it's called the X-Line. It does have a more rugged look. It comes with gray 20-inch wheels, and it does sit up a little bit higher.
Yeah, 1 inch.
And
All of them have the terrain management system for off-road, snow, all that kind of stuff. The only issue is that if you're a true off-roader, you know you don't go off-roading with 20-inch wheels. No, you want something that's more capable with more of a sidewall. But it certainly is an appearance package.
Why do you think Kia decided to bring this new model out as a 6-7-seater as opposed to just making it the 5-seater option in the lineup? The engine and size is really blurring the lines with the Sportage and Telluride. You are right. It is definitely blurring the lines. And Zach and I talk so much about this. Where does this fit? Here's the thing. I actually think it's a brilliant idea that Kia has done this because the Sportage starts at roughly $26,000, the Telluride roughly $45,000, and this comes in at around $34,000. You don't need to use the 6 or 7 seats all the time if you don't want to, but I think it's nice to have the option.
And wait for the new Sportage. It'll be bigger too. There you go. Just wait for it. Because we've already seen what they're doing on the Hyundai side with the all-new Tucson. So it'll be based on that. Well, there you go. If you want to get a question in, you have to follow Andrea on Instagram. It's motormouth_Andrea. She poses a question each and every week. Good job, hon. And you hear the music. That means it's time for Nightlife. So Andrea, do you remember when I came back from the launch of the Kia Telluride?
I do remember.
I raved and ranted about that vehicle. I went on and on about it, and I had a chance to drive also the Palisade from the Hyundai side. Andrea's done that as well. And in my opinion, those two Korean cousins are the benchmark in the mid-size 3-row utility space. And I think that this competes with the Telluride a little bit, here and there.
I don't know. I think they're very different.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the price because I think that's where it's going to kind of come out. All right. Let's do the price pause.
The LX trim is $33,995. LX Premium, $36,495. X-Line is a new trim and the first turbo, $39,495. EX, $40,995. EX Plus, $43,995, and the SX, which we are test driving, $47,495.
So this top trim Sorento is roughly $47,500.
Yeah.
What's a base Telluride start at?
Just over 46.
I actually put the price up this year because it's so popular. Now, how much is the SX version of the Telluride?
It is over $51,000.
Okay, so it's about $4,000 more to get the Telluride SX versus this version of SX. For me,
Yes.
that's money well spent, and I'll tell you why. You
I
wanna know?
agree. I think it is money well spent. I won't disagree with you on that, but some people don't want to drive such a large vehicle.
You get the 3.8-liter V6 engine. You get 8 passengers versus 6, because this one, as we mentioned, they take away the second row seats. So
Yeah.
you get room for 2 more people. You get a ton more cargo space. You still get the large 10.25-inch screen. You get the rugged good looks. And for a lot of people, I think that the V6 engine is going to be attractive.
I agree on all of your points. I think the V6 engine is attractive. I think the Telluride is a great product, but not everybody wants to drive such a large vehicle if they don't need it. If you only have one child, maybe 2 children, why do you need such a big vehicle like that?
That 3.8-liter V6, many people are getting better than the posted fuel economy, and I guarantee you a turbo 4-cylinder isn't going to get the same economy. I just think that engine is fantastic. It's a high compression ratio, large displacement, V6 engine. For me, that would be the one I'd be attracted to. As a woman who has to drive it every day, you like this one.
I like this one. I think there's a lot of different scenarios in families. Maybe a Telluride. Let's say you do have a big family and you do go with the Telluride, but your second vehicle, because dad or mom needs to take Sally to ballet and Jimmy has to go to hockey.
I was going to say Jennifer and Steve, but that's okay.
Whatever floats your boat. Maybe the second vehicle does need to be a 6 or 7 seater, but in a pinch. Every family is different, Zach.
And
not everybody wants to drive a big Telluride.
And speaking of pinch, the third row of seats is just for that. It's just for a pinch because it's really quite small. And when you have the third row of seats up, the cargo area behind it is almost negligible. Like there's nothing there.
No, it's tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
So
buy a Telluride.
Oh, Zach, it's like buy a GTI.
You know me too well.
I know.
You know what? This doesn't live in a vacuum, Andrea. No. It does have some competition.
It sure does.
For your consideration, 4 categories and 4 vehicles for you to consider.
The closest competitor on size is the GMC Acadia, coming in at $37,198.
If you're looking for a budget 7-seater alternative, well, that is the Mitsubishi Outlander, and it starts just under $30,000.
A German alternative goes to the Volkswagen Tiguan with all-wheel drive and 7 seats, coming in at $35,895.
The most fuel-efficient 7-passenger model on the market right now is easily the Toyota Highlander Hybrid. It starts at just over $45,000. Amazing fuel economy, 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.8 on the highway. So there's 4 vehicles for your consideration.
So one of the reasons to go to a smaller engine is it actually gets 11% better fuel economy than the V6.
In a lab. In real life, I'll take a V6 for a large utility over a Turbo 4. But anyway, what are the numbers?
The 2.5-liter 4-cylinder gets 10.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 9.2 on the highway. The 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo, 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 8.4 liters on the highway.
I would look at this Sorento as a 5-passenger plus.
That's right.
Except if you have the turbo, that 5th passenger has to sit in the 3rd row. I mean, that makes no sense to me. Is it the answer to the question nobody was asking, though?
Question meaning, did anybody really want that?
Yeah, is this a vehicle that people were clamoring for?
Well, I don't know if they were clamoring, but it's an option now, and I would definitely consider it. I think it's just brilliant that Kia has come out with a standard 7-seater. It's got good value.
I don't know. On the top trims like this SX, spend the extra money, spend a few more dollars in your lease every month and get the Telluride. I think that is better value. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.